Did you know a sitting U.S. Congressman just said he believes UFOs have bases in our oceans?
You received intelligence that suggests that there are perhaps deep water alien bases right now sitting on the ocean floor on this planet. Is that accurate?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Think about that for a second. Right now, as we sit here, there could be an entire city filled with aliens living underwater, and we'd never even know it. For decades, reports of unidentified submerged objects, USOs, have been logged by Navy crews, pilots, and radar operators. And not just small craft, but objects the size of a football field moving hundreds of miles per hour underwater. But until now, these stories were tucked away, hidden under lock and key by people or organizations that think they know what's best for you and me. But today, the claims are being made on the record, in front of Congress and by credible sources. Tonight, we'll look at the claim of underwater UFO bases, the history of USO encounters, and why Earth's oceans may be the perfect hiding place. We'll hear what Congress is saying. We'll look at what the evidence shows, and we'll see if we can't make sense of this together. Welcome to Project Strangeville. When Congressman Tim Burchett went public, he didn't hedge his words. He said UFOs, or UAPs, aren't just flying in our skies, they're in our oceans. And these aren't small drones or lights in the distance. He described craft the size of a football field, moving underwater at hundreds of miles per hour.
We've had naval folks told me, pretty high up, that they've actually tracked these things. Now, we have stuff that can go underwater probably 30 to 40 miles an hour, maybe something a little faster that the Chinese haven't stole from us yet. And we've tracked things big as a football field going 200 miles an hour.
For most people, that sounds impossible. But Burchett is not the first official to say it. Over the past few years, military pilots, Navy radar operators, and intelligence insiders have all testified before Congress. They've described technology that outpaces anything we can build, and objects that move seamlessly between air and sea. One of the most famous examples is the 2004 USS Nimitz incident. Commander David Fravor and his wingmen were flying training exercises off the coast of California when they were redirected to intercept an unknown contact. What they found is the now infamous Tic Tac object.
Nickel 6-1 Tango, Roger. Roger, there's troubleshooting as soon as I get.
Did you box moving target?
No, I took an auto track.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Wow, look at him fly.
Fravor reported that as it closed in, the Tic Tac darted around with incredible speed, reacting to their movements, almost like it was toying with them. Then, in an instant, it shot off at a velocity no human aircraft could survive. When radar operators tried to reacquire it, they saw something strange. The object wasn't gone, it was in the water. That wasn't an isolated report. Submariners have long whispered about fast movers, sonar contacts of massive objects racing beneath the waves at impossible speeds. These accounts stretch back decades. Crews describe tracking unidentified contacts moving faster than any known torpedo or submarine. The Soviet Navy had similar stories. During the Cold War, Russian subs reported encounters with submerged craft that outran their fastest weapons. Those cases were quietly filed away. And here's the problem. These aren't stories from civilians who might mistake a plane or a boat. These are trained military personnel, pilots, sonar technicians, radar operators, people whose careers depend on identifying what they see. When they say something doesn't match any known technology, it carries weight. Even in recent congressional hearings, intelligence officers like David Grush claimed that insiders were being silenced, that evidence of the encounters, and even recovery of advanced craft, was being hidden from the public. Taken together, the message is clear. Multiple governments have tracked unidentified objects moving through not just our skies, but under our oceans, and none of them can explain what they are. It amazes me it's taken the government this long to acknowledge the fact that there are UFOs. And for Congressman Burchett to speak up the way he has, that would have been political suicide just 20 years ago. I personally know airline pilots that have stated they've seen things while flying, but they never reported it because of the repercussions. Now, granted, they said this long before the government ever finally admitted that they knew about UFOs, but think about that. I mean, could you imagine looking out the window at 32,000 feet and seeing a UFO cruising right next to you? I mean, what are you going to do at that point? Just wave? You'd probably freak the hell out. Now they're saying that they're living under our water, and I have to admit, that actually sounds plausible. So take a guess at how long the government have known about this, though. You're about to find out now, but I'm curious as to how long you think they actually have known. But before we do, if you're a fan of the supernatural, paranormal, and true crime, please hit that like and subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. Now let's see how long we've actually been neighbors with these things. Not all of these reports come from modern radar and high-tech surveillance. Some of the most compelling stories of unidentified objects in the ocean come from decades before UFOs were even part of mainstream culture. One of the most famous cases happened off the coast of Nova Scotia in 1967. It's called the Shag Harbor Incident. Late one October night, dozens of witnesses saw a glowing object streak across the sky and crash into the water near a fishing village. Locals thought a plane had gone down, so they called the authorities. But when rescue crews got there was no wreckage, no survivors, just a strange foam on the surface of the water and lights glowing beneath it. Divers were sent in to search for the supposed crash site. They found nothing. No plane, no debris, nothing that could explain what so many people just watched slam into the ocean. The Canadian government quietly classified it as UFO. To this day, it remains one of the most well-documented mass sightings of an object entering the sea. But Shag Harbor wasn't unique. Across the Caribbean, the Puerto Rico Trench, the deepest point in the Atlantic, has been a hot spot for USO encounters. Fishermen and pilots have reported glowing objects rising out of the water, hovering silently, then diving back into the depths. But the strangest reports come from the Navy. Sonar operators have logged contacts moving faster than any submarine could travel, then making sudden sharp turns without slowing down. On sonar, it looks like something is playing with the laws of physics. Crews even gave these mystery objects a name: fast movers. In one account, a U.S. submarine detected a massive object pacing it underwater. The crew described the contact accelerating beyond their ability to track, before vanishing into the trench. They had no explanation, and the report disappeared into classified files. These aren't just American stories either. During the Cold War, the Soviet Navy logged its own encounters. In the 1980s, submarine crews in the Arctic reported strange craft beneath the ice, outrunning their fastest torpedoes. Some sailors even claimed to see luminous spheres rising through the water before darting into the sky. The reports were taken seriously enough that Soviet commanders ordered their crews to avoid confrontation. The standing order was simple: if you see one, don't chase it. Don't fire on it, just log it and move on. And then there are the civilian encounters, the ones that never made it into official reports, but have been passed down through the generations. Fishermen who claim glowing discs circled their boats before plunging into the deep. Divers who tell stories of strange lights moving silently around them, far too big and too fast to be marine life. Are they all true? Hard to say. But when these stories echo across decades, across nations, and across both military and civilian witnesses, it paints a picture that's too hard to ignore. You know what really burns me about all this? The gaslighting. It's really downright insulting that the government has been telling us for years that it's weather balloons or secret military exercises, and I'm sure some were, but come on, man, we're not stupid. And the fact that they can't even call it a UFO, they call it a USO or a UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomenon, for those of you who didn't know what that was. I mean, give me a break. These stories go way, way back, way before the internet could make you famous with the viral video. I mean, these people that were reporting these incidents, they had nothing to gain. They just reported what they saw. And now they're saying they may be living in our oceans. Honestly, I don't doubt it. We know less about what's in our oceans than we know about what's in space. And for me, it's not a matter of if they've been living under there. It's a matter of how long they've been there. Now let's see why they think they are actually living in our oceans. For years, there have been rumors that whatever these craft are, they aren't just visiting our oceans, they're living in them. Permanent structures, bases, hidden cities under miles of water. The idea sounds like conspiracy bait, until you look at how often the same locations keep coming up. One recent example hit the internet in 2014, off the coast of Malibu, California. Satellite images showed what looked like a massive symmetrical structure on the ocean floor, a flat plateau with perfectly even columns rising out of it, almost like an entrance. The photos spread everywhere. People called it the Malibu base, supposed proof of an alien outpost just 20 miles from Los Angeles. Skeptics said it was just a natural rock shelf, but that didn't stop independent divers from trying to find it. Some claimed their compasses spun in circles as they approached. Others said their sonar shorted out completely. No one ever brought back conclusive evidence, but no one could quite explain the perfect symmetry either. And Malibu isn't the only place that these stories pop up. Down in the Puerto Rico Trench, the same area that's been the hotspot for USO sightings for decades, locals talk about glowing lights rising from the water at night. Pilots say radar blips vanish right over the trench, as if something is pulling them down. U.S. Navy patrols have logged lost contacts there for years, and those files, at least the ones that aren't still classified, never list a cause. Then there's the Arctic and the Antarctic. Old expedition reports mention strange lights beneath the ice, massive heat signatures that seem to move. Scientists chalk them up to under-ice volcanic activity, but the patterns don't match. The signals move horizontally, not vertically, like something traveling in formation. Every time these hotspots come up, Malibu, Puerto Rico, the polar regions, you also hear about military interest. Quiet monitoring, off-limit zones, naval drills that suddenly shift locations without explanation. No official ever says why, but the pattern's not hard to miss. Anywhere people report these fast movers, you'll find a military presence nearby. If these bases are real, they'd explain a lot. Why the same areas keep lighting up on sonar, why craft vanish the moment they hit the water, and why the ocean floor near them is mapped so poorly compared to the rest of the world. Most of those deep-sea scans just stop at a certain depth, classified beyond that point. It's as if someone doesn't want the bottom of the ocean fully charted, and maybe that's the point. I actually didn't even know about the classified status on the deep-sea scans until I researched this story, but I'm not surprised. But if the government knows that they are there, and they're purposely helping them, why are they doing it? I mean, we both know that our government, or any government for that matter, doesn't do anything out of the kindness of their heart. And speaking of other governments, what about the aliens doing the same thing in other countries? Are they part of the same small group that's in the US waters? And if not, what if they have different agendas? And what are they here for? Are they looking for something specific? Is it under the water? Or is the water just the perfect camouflage? Stick with me, as we're about to find out. If these things really are hiding here, the ocean makes perfect sense. It's the single largest unexplored region on the planet, over 70% of the Earth's surface, and we've mapped less than a quarter of its floor. You could park an entire civilization down there, and we'd never know it. The first reason is simple: cover. The deeper you go, the darker it gets. Sunlight disappears after a few hundred feet. Beyond that, it's pitch black, freezing, and under crushing pressure. It's the perfect environment to hide something from human eyes and sensors alike. And those pressures that would crush a submarine, if these craft can move from space into the ocean without slowing down, pressure probably isn't a problem for them. In fact, it might even be part of the plan, because nothing we have can follow them down there. The second reason is stealth. Radar can't penetrate water. Most sonar only works effectively within limited ranges, and the deeper you go, the more the sound bends and scatters. If you wanted to operate unseen, whether you're a military power or something not from this planet, the ocean is the ultimate blind spot. And then there's energy. Oceans are full of it. Thermal vents, magnetic fields, saltwater conductivity. A civilization capable of interstellar travel would need to mine planets. It could draw power straight from the planet's natural systems. Some researchers even point to areas near deep-sea volcanic ridges where strange electromagnetic pulses have been detected, spikes that don't match natural geology. It also explains the fast movers. If these craft are using some form of field propulsion, something that distorts space around them, the dense medium of water might actually help conceal the distortions better than air. It would mask heat signatures, dampen shock waves, and make them almost invisible to detection. And maybe that's why we keep seeing the same behavior. Objects appear in the sky, drop into the sea, then vanish. Maybe they're going home. If that's true, it means they've been here for a long time. Long enough to understand how to hide right under our noses. Think about that for a minute. Once you get a few hundred feet under the water, light just disappears. The pressure is too much for anything we have to safely navigate at those depths. Our sonar is limited at best, and if the speeds they've actually clocked them at are true, good luck trying to catch one of them. So what is it that they're actually doing here? Is it just to get fuel, or are they actually living in our oceans? If so, don't you wonder how long they've been here? I mean, maybe even longer than we have. Let's let that sink in for a minute. Let's see what happens when we put this all together and see if we can't make some sense out of it. When you start putting it all together, a pattern begins to form. The sightings, the sonar tracks, the restricted zones, they all point to something that's not just visiting our planet, it's been here a while. If even half of these accounts are real, then the idea that we're alone on this planet starts to sound a lot less believable. Maybe they didn't come here at all. Maybe they've always been here, deep beneath the waves, hidden in a place we can't fully explore. The government's slow admission of UFOs or UAPs almost feels like a distraction now. They've spent decades studying these things, telling the public it was nothing, and quietly filing the data away. Now they admit objects of unknown origin are real, but only in the sky. No one talks about what's happening in the water. If these craft really do move effortlessly between air and sea, then maybe the oceans are more than just a hiding place. Maybe they're an entire world of their own, a world inside ours. It also explains why governments might keep it quiet. Imagine being the first to confirm that another intelligent species has been living under your territory for centuries. That's not a story you can spin to the public. That's panic. That's loss of control. And if there's one thing every government fears, it's losing control. So we're left with fragments, blurry radar data, testimony from pilots and sailors, and maps with blank spots no one seems to be willing to fill in. Pieces of a puzzle that, when you look close enough, start to form an image, just not one anyone wants to see. Now I'm about to wrap this up in a nice and scary thought, but before I do, if you're a fan of the supernatural, true crime, and paranormal, please hit that like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Now, I obviously can't prove that there are aliens living on our oceans any more than you can or Congressman Burchett. But I am willing to bet that the government knows. You can't deny that the oceans are the perfect cover. It's pitch black. We can't really get there. Our sonar is basically useless at those depths. And there's about 75% of the ocean floor left that we haven't even mapped yet. It's not a stretch to think that they could have literally been a hidden city or even a civilization down there. But there's an even scarier thought. You know damn well that if they are there, our government not only knows, but has more than likely established some form of communication. Now, either the aliens are providing us with some service or technology and therefore the government's agreeing to help them and keep their secret, or the government is keeping their secret under threat. Let's face it, if they're living under our seas, their tech is much more advanced than ours, and they could probably squish us like a bug if they wanted to. Stephen Hawking's actually warned about this and how we might be treated if an alien species did land on Earth. Let's just say it doesn't have an ET ending. Think more War of the Worlds, I guess you could say on that one. But I'd be really curious to see what you think on this. Do Do you think aliens are living in our seas? And if so, what do you think they want with us? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. This is Project Strangeville.